So Facebook had a data breach. What does that mean for you if you're running paid traffic? Well, let me walk you through this real fast. So on Friday, Facebook announced that they discovered that somebody had gained access to 50 million Facebook accounts. To eliminate, the way that they gained access wasn't by actually stealing their passwords or anything like that. They got access through some sort of backdoor system. It's kind of nerdy and complicated, but essentially they could access that system. Facebook was able to reset that though and say, okay, you no longer have access. Once they did that, that meant that everyone had to log back in. Not everyone, but just the 50 million people. And then they actually extended this a little bit and went to 40. Added another 40 million people. 90 million people total were logged out of Facebook on Friday. Now, why does that matter for you if you're a business? Well, if you're an individual, it doesn't really matter because you might have gone to Facebook, you might have seen you weren't logged in, and you click the login button again. No big deal. If you're a business, though, running paid traffic, you depend on that Facebook login to always be there, always be tracking people, always be at the ready to know what their behavior is so that you can measure it in your marketing. And that's where the real impact has been over the last few days, especially Friday and Saturday. We're still seeing effects of it Sunday and Monday today. But essentially, it works like this. Imagine you live in a city with big enough city to have toll roads. We have toll roads here in Austin, Texas. And when I drive through those toll roads, I have to pay. How do they know I went through the toll road? Well, I've got a toll tag right front and center on my windshield. And every time I drive through, it says, Deacon just drove through, charge him. Deacon just drove through again, charge him, right? What essentially happened on Friday when 90 million Facebook people were logged off is it's like that toll tag was ripped off my window. I'm still driving on the same roads. I'm still going the same routes. But those tollway plazas, they're not registering. They're not saying, hey, Deacon went through. Because suddenly they don't know who I am because my tag's gone. Now, that's not the best analogy because it makes it sound like I'm stealing toll roads. But you get the idea. What was removed when you're logged out of Facebook is Facebook's ability to know what you're doing on the web and where you're going, which ads are helpful. And when they get that data back, if you purchase something, if you visit a website, that's when ads become better for you. That's when ads become better for your business. And that's the ability that was lost. So if you're running Facebook ads on Friday, you probably think you had a pretty terrible weekend overall. Friday, you probably didn't get a lot. What was happening there wasn't necessarily the user's behavior was changing on Friday. It's that our ability to track the user's behavior was changing on Friday. That's really all there was to it. Smart businesses, they know how to get through this. Hiccups like this happen, and you just have to keep going. So you can't, if you know your numbers, you're going to be fine, okay? And this is a really minor thing in the big scheme of things. But I have seen it catch a lot of businesses get caught on the inside, as we would say, as surfers. You know, big waves coming, you're caught on the inside, you don't know where you're supposed to be, and you get crushed by something like this. The other place that I've seen this impact businesses, and we're well past this, if you don't know about automated rules like how this could have impacted you, then you don't need to know about this next part. But we actually saw some of this trigger what we would call a stop loss rule. And a stop loss rule basically just says, hey, if the CPA gets above this specific rule, just turn it off. Well, that happened a lot on Friday because on Friday, as CPAs rose, because again, the ability to track was taken away as from 90 million people were no longer being tracked. Then suddenly it looked like the results were terrible. Even though the ads were still performing, Facebook wasn't getting the data. They weren't able to optimize. Some of those rules were kicking in and actually making things a little bit worse. So super interesting weekend overall for those of us running traffic on Facebook. Just really glad it wasn't Thanksgiving weekend or holiday weekend or something like that. But hey, we're getting through it. And now you know exactly what the data breach means to you if you're running Facebook ads.